Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joe Anastasi. We are pleased to have you join us for today's noon webinar. The topic is generative AI for problem solving in projects. Dr. Leon Herzon will be presenting that topic to us today. Thanks again for joining. Please check your inbox, your email inbox, the email you used to register for this event. There's two files that are in your inbox. One is a PDF schedule. The other is some AI prompts that we're going to play with today. So please take a look in your inbox as we're getting kicked off here. We have a mentorship program with the chapter. It's a great opportunity for someone that's looking to be mentored. This is for professional development towards becoming a really great project manager. So if you are an aspiring or emerging project manager, you're looking for a mentor, or you are someone that's experienced and want to give back to the community and give back to someone that wants to learn project management, you can do so through our program. You can contact either mentoring@pmineo.org, or you can contact Raj, our VP of Mentoring, at vpmentoring@pmineo.org. This slide and Dr. Herzon's slides will be shared with you all, so you can refer to it later. But again, if you're a mentor or want to be a mentee, we'd love to have you join our program. Today's speaker is Dr. Leon Herzon. He's a global thought leader in project management and organizational transformation, growing focus on the integration of Gen AI into projects. More than 30 years of leadership experience across industries. He's also the CEO and president of Value Edge Group, leads a global consulting and training firm focused on transformation and AI. And head of consulting with IIL, who has offered Dr. Herzon here today as a speaker and lectures on project management and AI. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Herzon. Thank you all for joining. Some admin, if you have a question for Dr., please post it in the chat. Leave your mics on mute. I'll be monitoring the chat. We'll ask Dr. Herzon those questions in the chat throughout the presentation. We'll also have Q&A at the end. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me see if let me know if you guys can see my screen.
You can see it.
All right, beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for dedicating time on your lunch to talk a little bit about generative AI. Joe already, thank you for introducing me. I also have a book that came out recently, which is the Strategic Project Manager's Guide for Complex Projects. That was my PhD thesis, was on managing complex projects. But I also been involved in AI way before ChatGPT came out and etc. When I have a chance, I teach for a local university called Rutgers Business School. And everybody has a podcast nowadays, so I also have a podcast. So if you want to go and join, there is some very interesting conversations with some folks from PMI as well, book authors, experts, and mostly around project management and artificial intelligence, right? One thing that Joe didn't mention, but I'm very proud of, I decided instead of being good in one sport, I decided to be bad in three. So I started doing triathlon, swim, bike, and run, right? So I'm very proud to have finished some of those long races called Ironman. And you guys notice that I have an accent. So I grew up speaking German and French, moved to Brazil, learned Portuguese, where probably my accent is from, most of it, and then English and a little bit Spanish. But that's it. If you want to connect on LinkedIn, you have here, you're going to get access to the slide deck. So here's our conversation today, right? And by the way, guys, anytime if you want to ask a question, I'll be also checking. But Joe, I probably won't be able to check as well as you. So, but feel free to type in, and if there is a chance, we're going to address. So, what are we talking about here? We are talking about the use of generative AI to solve problems on your projects, right? So it's not just generative AI. It is how to use this tool that can help us a lot on managing our projects. I actually deliver a few webinars, AI augmented project management, and talking about other tools, but here we're going to focus on generative AI. So a few quotes, you guys can take a look here. I really believe what Eliezer says here. That's probably the last invention that we are going to have to make, because as a result of AI, we're going to be able to address several issues. I can tell you that I read a lot of materials out there, books, articles, and etc. about AI, and I see there is people position themselves in different, sometimes extremes, right? You have the people who are very pessimistic, like Skynet, everybody's gonna die, right? And you have the optimistic, which is it's gonna solve all the problems, superabundance, etc. After reading all this stuff and my own analysis on where we are, I think I can position myself as cautiously optimistic, right? I just wrote an article a few weeks back about the in-between times. I think that's where we are. We are not in the past anymore. We are not in the future yet. We are witnessing this transformation. That's what's happening. And I do not believe that project managers will lose their job. But I'm quite certain that project managers who know how to use AI will take the job of the ones who don't. So the fact that you are here, it's a very good sign, because I don't think there is any single industry that's not going to have AI embedded and transforming the way that industry behaves, and which of course includes project management, right? I don't know if you guys agree with that, but uh, not too far back, we had a lot of project managers who were not actually project managers. They were more like task managers, doing a lot of recurring work, a lot of tasks, checking the schedule, updating this and updating, prepare presentations, and a lot of stuff that took time from us. And with AI coming in, taking care of those tasks, we can dedicate that time saved to critical thinking, decision making, be more strategic. Then we actually become project managers and less task managers. So that's the scenario that I wanted to start our conversation with. And by the way, guys, since you guys have webcams, if you want to turn your webcams, that would be great, because if I tell a joke, I know if it's working or not. Right now, I have no idea because everybody has their webcams off. So feel free to turn on the webcams, right? Beautiful. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Appreciate that. And anybody else, feel free to turn it on. But let's talk about the world that we are living, which is the VUCA world, right? Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. I think everybody here agrees this is what we are facing. And by the way, guys, if you want to know what's going on with AI, right? And I'm going to go back here. And that's why I call this old news. It's not news because it's very hard to catch up, right? If you want to know what's going on with AI, it's like drinking from a fire hose. So don't something that I say today, tomorrow might be already out. And I do have a recommendation for you guys, and I'm going to share some of those. anybody who wants to get a little bit up to date on what's going on with AI, the rundown.ai. The rundown.ai, very simple, is a newsletter, is free. 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes. I have no part with those guys, but that's the one that I read. Every day, 5 minutes, I know what's going on in Claude and the government, and then you have OpenAI and all kind of stuff. Every day, 5 minutes. I think will serve you well if you invest some time to understand what's going on in the world, right? So when you look to artificial intelligence, the adoption rate is something that we never saw in history before. In 2 months, OpenAI ChatGPT was able to get 100 million users in only 2 months. This is completely insane. The next one took 9 months, which was TikTok, which is a phenomenon as well, but nothing compares with AI, right? So a few things here that I want to point. There's still interesting concepts. Not too long ago, for you to create a large language model, the investment was around 500 to 600 million, and DeepSeek was able to get that under six. Well, there are a few details about that. It's not exactly six, but anyway, it's way less than the 600. And Stanford and University of Washington was able to create a reasoning model under $50. That's not a typo, guys. It's $50. They created a small model that can do reasoning, right? And at University of San Diego, they were finally able to have an AI app passing the Turing test. For you guys who don't know, AI is not really new. We go back to the 50s when Alan Turing started the Turing machine and etc. And there was a test that if AI can pretend to be a human and nobody will be able to catch that, then we'll pass the Turing test. That actually happened a few months back. So we are in uncharted territories, right, where we stand related to AI. Dr. Farrell and myself, we did a survey with project managers on the impact of AI in project management. When you look here, what is the number one challenge? Is understanding the technology. And together with understanding the technology, the resistance, right? The resistance and integration with existing tools. The resistance makes change because if I don't understand, our tendency is to resist, right? A new technology. Another thing that we saw here is where is the major concern? Transparency in the process of decision making, AI decision making. Then you have bias and etc. There is a lot of content about this. And recently, a colleague of mine, Ricardo Vargas, he did also a survey on AI-driven project management and showing how the familiarity with AI in project management grew significantly here, as you guys can see. And you got 54% of PMs already using AI tools to some extent, right? So I have a quick poll that I wanted to ask you guys to answer. So you can go here, get this QR code, or you can type www.polev.com/Herzon, www.polev.com/Herzon, or get your cell phone. I have 4 questions, 4 polls, so keep your cell phone open, and every time there is a new question, just gonna update. So tell me how much you know about AI. How much you know about AI? Joe, so I control my time here. Do we leave like 10 minutes towards the end? It will be okay? So I go
Yes,
all the way
that
to
would be fine.
50. Okay, good. All right, so here we have it. And by the way, guys, this is completely anonymous, so go crazy, answer whatever. We have no idea. And I don't know how many people already responded, but I can see by the percentage that most of us by far use a little and want to learn more. That's why we're here, right? That's why we're here. We want to learn more and keep learning. And we have a pretty nice group, 8%, that actually use a lot and have a very good understanding. That's excellent. And by the way, let me pause here. Guys, because we are in the in-between times and there is a lot of confusion and a lot of people who don't know exactly what to do, may I recommend you, not everybody can attend a webinar or a course or anything like that. PMI has a very nice certification, the CPMI AI, that some of you are actually talking that you are preparing yourself to do. Strongly recommend. But here's my note. Yes, exactly. So here's my comment. Not everybody can do it. When you have a chance, talk to your colleagues, family, friends, because that's going to change society, right? One of the ways that you can see that we are in the in between times, you probably heard that AI can now analyze X-rays, PET scans, MRIs, whatever, way better than radiologists. But when you look to the number of people still registering to radiology courses or paralegal courses, it's pretty much the same. This is changing, guys. This is going to change. We are in that moment in between, but this is not going to be as it is. So if you have a chance to share that with colleagues and etc., do that because I think it's going to help them to position themselves. When I'm talking at Rutgers, I teach for both undergrad and grad students, especially the undergrad. They're very nervous about their major. Am I going to be able to have a job, right? So what is the recommendation? It doesn't matter what their major is. Learn how to use AI to augment whatever you're doing. If you're a supply chain, know how to use AI in supply chain. If you're an engineer, how you're going to use AI. If you're a coder, guess what? We still need developers because if the person has zero knowledge about coding and try to use Lovable, Base 44, all those codecs, whatever it is, yeah, you might be able to do some simple stuff, but when the problem arrives, you need to understand what it is. If not, you're going to be stuck. So using AI is the secret. It's not looking for a different major or anything like that, right? But anyway, let's go back here and talk a little bit about some basic concepts. Some of you already know that. If you know that, great. Just a quick refresh here. But if you don't, let me share very quickly about some key concepts on AI. One is the term AI, artificial intelligence. The name already says is artificial. This is not real intelligence, guys. This is not human intelligence. It replicates, it mimics thinking, learning, making decisions, solving problems, but it's not real intelligence. I'm going to give you a very simple example to show you that we still have the most powerful tool in the known universe, which is our brain. Let me give an example. If you take a little kid and you show a cat and you say that's a cat, the next time you can show another cat, the kid is going to say it's a cat. When you show a picture of a cat, the kid's going to say it's a cat. When you show a stuffed animal that looks like a cat, the kid's going to say it's a cat. You know how many images and videos of cats you need to train AI to identify a cat? Can anybody tell? Millions. And they kid that in one single shot. One time. That's it. So there is no comparison. But we also need to understand where we are. We are what we call narrow AI. Generative AI is narrow AI. The app that drives your car is narrow AI. It does very well that specific thing. The app that plays chess is narrow AI. that read X-rays, narrow AI. What all those organizations are doing now, trying to reach, is artificial general intelligence, which means it's not only going to be very good at one thing, but several things, like humans. We all know how to drive. We know how to play tennis. We know how to write something, right? This is artificial general intelligence. How soon that's going to come is anybody's guess. And then after that, you have artificial super intelligence, not the same thing, is when AI becomes smarter than any human combined and it keeps improving. That is, we never know if this is ever going to happen, and some people have nightmares about this thing, right? But we need to understand where we are. We are in narrow AI. It mimics human intelligence. Machine learning is the process of learning. What are the algorithms that were created to allow the machine to make predictions? A lot of people call generative AI as predictor machines. They are going to predict based what is the probability of the next word. So if I ask you right now to fill the blanks, what would you say? Once upon a what? You can open your microphone, you can type, whatever. Once upon a
time.
99.99999%. That's the way it works. That's why when you click a prompt on your chatbot, you don't get an immediate response. You see this thing writing, right? That's why it works. Then we have generative AI. Again, the name helps us. It generates content. It generates text, images, videos. Guys, I still remember when I was attending a PMI Executive Council meeting. I was representing IAL, and they were showing, that was in 2022. End of 2022, somebody put a prompt, press enter, and that was the response in a human voice. And I said, this is amazing. Holy smokes. And I didn't realize there was a woman in the back with the microphone reading the answer, right? But but today, it already happens. If you go to any of your chatbots, you click on the speaker, you hear the answer. So generative AI generates images. Context at the beginning was really, really bad, right? But anyway, that's generative AI. Conversational GPT allows us to have conversation, use this technology called generative pre-trained transformer. It generates, is previously trained, and transformer means he understands the context using neural networks. Neural networks is what happens on your brain. If you see a cube, you identify a cube, and then you see it has colors. Then it goes to the next level. Okay, cubes with colors. And then I have those little colors, and this thing moves. It's a Rubik's Cube. Our brain does that in a fraction of a second. That's a neural network, right? This technology brought to computers, which allows us to have the conversational GPTs, which right now I'm going to call chatbots. ChatGPT is a chatbot, Gemini is a chatbot, Copilot, and etc. So we have a lot of chatbots. They are very easy to use. You can have back and forth conversations, but you also have hallucinations, which is a separate topic altogether. They don't check capabilities. Whatever is on the large language model is the information they're going to grab, right? And they might be prone to bias because we are biased, so they might be biased as well. So very quickly here, let's see how we are doing. Let's try to match the terms with the definitions. So artificial intelligence, which one you think is the right answer here? Artificial intelligence. On the right side, you guys can put on the chat. Artificial intelligence. What is it? C, very good. Well done. Machine learning. What is machine learning? And the words it normally helps us. Machine learning. What is machine learning? A, very good. A, focus on learning, right, from data. Large language models. What are large language models? Think about language. What do we have on language? What is a large language model? F, very good. Train on text data. Language, right? Generative AI. What is generative AI? D, creates, generates content. Now it's becoming easy, right? So what is a GPT? What is a GPT? Generative pre-trained transformer. We only have now, yeah, B as in boy, very good. And finally, conversational GPT, carry on conversations. All right. So if you want to take a screenshot or whatever of this screen or make a note, when I send you the slides, it's not going to have those answers for you. All right. Just, but anyway, here we have what are the main chatbots nowadays is ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, and Claude. We have to add Claude here. Claude grew up from Anthropic very much, so Claude is a big player at the moment. But you also have Perplexity, you have Llama, you have Consensus, very nice for academia, Consensus, and PMI Infinity. So PMI Infinity, anybody here as a PMI member, you know that you have access to PMI Infinity. Fantastic chatbot is going to have access to all the body of knowledge, practice guides, standards, everything is there. So next question for you here is, which chatbot have you already used? GPT, Copilot, Gemini, Claude, or all of the above. If you already got all of the above, then you mark all of the above, or maybe you never use. Leon, what is a chatbot? What are we talking about? What is this webinar? Right, so then you will mark. So all of the above shows that, wow, that's interesting. Very interesting. When you add all of the above with the next one, it seems that most of us, the number one is Copilot here, based on what I'm seeing, because Copilot counts on all of the above and also on the Copilot itself. Very interesting. You know, the one that I see more often is ChatGPT. And I'm seeing now Copilot, right? Which is part of the Office 365. So there is some clear advantages here for Copilot. Excellent. Thank you. So what is a prompt? Prompt are the instructions you're going to give to your AI app, to your generative AI, to your chatbot. And this slide here, guys, this is one slide that I really recommend you guys to take a note, right? Which is the 5 elements of a very effective prompt. What you want, why, the context, give an example, give some direction. For instance, act as a project manager. Create a slide deck that has to be presented to a top executive. And here you want also to be smart. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. You guys know the acronym. The same that we use for objectives or requirements, we also have to use for a prompt. If you write a prompt, generate an image of a large animal. What do you think about this prompt? Generate an image of a large animal. You guys gonna have whatever. I have no idea. It's gonna be an elephant. It's gonna be a giraffe, a whale. I don't know what you guys gonna have receive. So we need to be specific. If you prompt has those 5 elements, guys, you have better chances to get a good response instead of being, oh, you put a vague prompt and then you have to refine and you keep going back and back and back and you have so many iterations. So if you want to flag this slide, that's, I think, is an important slide for you. And here you have a design, an example of a very good prompt. I need a list of metrics and KPIs for customer engagement, for a telecom solution, whatever it is, right? Why do I need this list of metrics and KPIs? Because I want to develop a set of assessment criteria for future proposals. I want, being more specific, I want both quantitative and qualitative metrics. I give some examples. Don't use jargons. Give me references. Limit to 20 KPIs. And second bullet here, very important. Give me KPI that I don't have to turn my company upside down to get that information. How many KPIs take you days to collect? It defeats the purpose, right? It's supposed to be something that is easy to obtain and is providing you valuable information. Show me as a table, KPI description, and finally act as a project manager. That's the moment that I'm going to invite you to open that text document that you just received. So I'm going to take here, I'm going to copy that. And that is just an example, guys. And I'm going to use, let's say, Gemini to give me an answer. So this presentation is completely agnostic. Look at that. Guys, creating 20 KPIs and it takes seconds for a telecom solution. If those things are not mind-boggling to you, the speed that when you put the prompt, it goes to the large language model, captures situations about telecom, what is a metric, KPI, which means key performance indicator, organize this thing and brings back to you in a few seconds. Look at that. Right? So this is what we're going to be talking about here, is how generative AI, and I'm talking about generative AI specifically, guys, not other tools. There are many tools out there. We're talking about generative AI chatbots, how they can help you to better manage your projects, how they can save you time on those recurring tasks. Because now, are you going to implement all those KPIs? What do you think? Yes or no? Just going to copy and paste and start using? Is that what we're going to use? We're going to do? No, of course not. We're going to use critical thinking, but guess what? Did you try to create KPIs from scratch? How many hours this would take in brainstorming and etc. Now you have a list of KPIs that you can go to them and say, let's check which ones make sense on our project. So yeah, it took you a minute, then you're going to take another 10, 15 minutes to validate that, and then you'll have it, right? Guys, I don't want to wait for the end. So far, so good. Give me a green check here on the Zoom. Speed is okay. You guys can understand my funny accent. It's all good. We're good, right? Okay. All right, let's move on. So again, use this slide as your reference. Use this slide as your reference. If you have a prompt, and here's just an example, if you have a prompt using those 5 elements, you don't need to take a prompt engineering course. What you guys gonna learn on a prompt engineering course is those 5 things. That's it. Even though my thesis was on complex project management, I love to simplify stuff. The simpler, the better, right? So keep an eye on those 5 things here. All right. So let's take a look on a few ways that generative AI can help with problem solving. Data analysis. Guys, what AI can do in analyze a massive amount of data that no human being can, it's completely impossible, or it will take forever. AI can do that in a very, very short period of time. Imagine if you have the data of all the projects that you had to manage, or the entire company had to manage. If you have that data, you can put this data together and ask your chatbot, tell me what are the main risks, the recurring risk, what are the areas that I have to take, or what was the main cause that identify on the lessons learned for failure, etc. you can have thousands of projects. And it's going to do like this. This is amazing, agree? This is amazing. No, none of us can take a look at thousands of projects and try to figure out what happened on them. It's pretty much impossible. So based on that capability, it can give you predictions. It can help you to make the decision. And here's the important thing, help you to make the decision. We have to keep the human in the loop. We have to keep the human in the loop. It is a big mistake for us to get the decision handed to AI. I'm going to give you a few examples. That's not our topic, but if you create an AI agent, and we're going to learn how to do a project bot here today, pretty cool, but it's not an agent. But if you create an AI agent and you allow to make decisions and to implement things, if you don't give proper instructions, a few weeks back, an IT organization created an agent, not very good instructions. They wiped out the entire database of that company, the agent. The agent didn't go crazy. He just followed the instructions, bad instructions. That's what's going to happen. So we need to be careful, right? We need to be careful. I want to be respectful of your time, but I have a few stories I hope I have a chance to share with you. So automation here, and you can simulate scenarios. That's what AlphaFold from a DeepMind that owns by Google does, analyzing proteins and etc. is fantastic. They can simulate things that labs will take decades, can be done in hours, no more than days instead of decades. So here are a few examples for you. The first one is a network optimization. I cannot share the name of the company. I'm not authorized to do so, but I can share what happened. They had a problem. They didn't know where to go, which areas on the entire network they had to do maintenance, preventive maintenance, and etc. So they use AI algorithms to figure out what were the triggers, the indicators that some parts needed to have preventive support, and they got crazy optimization by using AI. Another case that is generic in nature, but also I cannot share the name, is high customer turnover. So the clients decided to go to a competitor. So they started to use AI to analyze what happens before somebody decides to leave. What were the indicators that nobody was able to see? And they started to figure out some indicators that people said, why is that even an indicator? But it was. And after that, they were able to retain way more clients. Now I can give some names. Walmart, they can create product recommendations, they can optimize their supply chain. Guys, you know how that works. If you go right now on Amazon and you buy diapers, guess what's going to happen next time you go into Amazon? You're going to see a bunch of stuff related to babies, right? The same thing, that's AI. We are using AI for a while, not interacting with us the way we are doing for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. But Walmart got huge optimization here. Siemens, using AI to design equipments, to design their equipments. You have L'Oreal, let's talk about personal care, being able to do the marketing based on the what is happening in that specific market. What is that? What is the demographic? What people are looking more, and etc. J.P. Morgan Chase, let's go financial services. Code, a lot of companies investing heavily on Codex and a different type of coding platforms on that as well. An update on our Walmart. And what happened is that the CEO was able to update. They have a 850 million product catalog. That's an insane amount of items. 100 times faster than what they were doing before, which saved them a lot of time, and they redirected their manpower to analysis, to exceptions instead of all those recurring tasks. Okay, so next question I have for you is this. Do you use generative AI right now to solve a problem? And guys, we are focused on project management. I'm not talking about a nice email you want to send to your friend or answer to. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about project management problems. So daily, look at that. Wow. Well, it just disappeared. Just because I said daily and then it disappeared. Anyway, thank you. So at least once a week, but most of us, yes, but not so frequently. Hopefully, after this little chat here that we are having, that you can improve on that, right? But most of us, at least once a week, and or not so frequently. Cool. Okay, so time to put in practice. How many of you are PMPs? Give me a green check here. I would assume most of you, if not all of you, are PMPs, certified as PMPs. Very good. So I see a few responses. Very nice. So you remember that you have to learn earned value management, right? To take your exam. That thing with the calculation, cost variance, schedule variance, performance index, cost performance index, all that. You know what happened when you finish the exam, right? When you finish the exam and you passed, when you cross that door, this earned value management thing just poof, disappear, right? It's a phenomenon. It just disappears from your mind. But it's a great technique. It's a great technique. One of the problems that we might have, and some of you might be working with Agile using Jira or whatever. Earned value management allows you to work, doesn't matter waterfall, hybrid, or Agile. How is our project? That's the problem. I don't know how is my project. I want to use AI to do that instead of trying to use Microsoft Project or any other of those tools. If you look to this project here, let's take a look. The project is a 6 months project with a budget of 100,000. That's your project. All right? 6 months, 100,000. You are at the end of month 2. So if you're at the end of month 2 on a 6 month project, you agree with me, you did 1/3. That's 1/3 of the journey, right? So 33%. 33% is where you're supposed to be on that journey. But you paid only $20,000. How much should you have paid if everything was flat and, like no variations? How much would that be? 33,333. 1/3 of 100,000, but you only paid 20,000, so it means you're probably under budget. What about the schedule? 25% complete. How much should have been completed if everything was flat, right? 33%. So you are behind schedule and under budget. You guys agree with me? Those are the main indicators here, but let's use generative AI to calculate that. So I'm going to invite you guys to go copy here your earned value management prompt. Just copy this thing. And instead of using GPT or any of the others, let's go to PMI Infinity. Right? So I'm going to log in here. You guys doing the same on your side? Right? And you can use Copilot, you can use any other at your choice, Claude. So I'm logged in. Now I'm going to ask to do this calculation. I'm going to ask to do this calculation. And let's see. So what I should see is, since I'm under budget, my CPI, my cost performance index, should be higher than 1. Since I'm behind schedule, my SPI, the schedule performance index, should be below 1, less than 1. That's what I should see if the calculation is correct. All right, CPI 125, that's good, under budget. SPI below 1, bad, I am behind schedule. So here we have, let's see, CPI 125, efficient. So I'm on the budget. SPI, you are behind schedule. All right. So guys, this is not that was not always like this. In the past, a few years back, when you do basic calculation using generative AI, you got all crazy things because language is one thing, math is different. You guys agree? Language, can they do prediction? Once upon a, okay, it's time. But 2 plus 2 is always 4, doesn't matter. There's no prediction, it's exact, right? So there were some issues with calculations, but nowadays, although basic math, no problem. So here's a way for you to take any project that you have, any project that you have, and you want to know how you are, just describe what's going on with your project. And you don't even need to provide all these 1 to 8. You don't need to give all these formulas, give the formula away. You don't need to. Why? Because on net value management, you have books, you have a lot of information stored inside those large language models, agree? You don't need to give that information, it's already there. You just have to ask, do an net value management calculation, my project, this is the total budget, this is the duration, here's where I am, tell me what's going on, give me a forecast, period, enter, you're gonna get that. All right, so that's one of the problems here. I think I have to run a little bit more. Joe, can we go a little bit over or are we okay? I just want to make sure that I want to be respectful of you guys' time.
We try not to. I
Okay.
think people end up dropping off early, but
All right. So you guys put your questions here already. So it's going to save us some time. Really, really cool, guys. Create your own project bot. So very quickly here, let me show you what this bot does. This bot is a bot that creates a schedule for you. You have to tell first what is your project about? What is your project name, right? Your objective, the project objective, and the budget. After you give that information, your bot is going to tell you which approach is more recommended for this specific project. Going to give me a green check or a red X. That's what's going to do, right? So this is the project that I'm going to use. You can replace to your own project. So I invite you again to go here to your project bot and just copy the first part of your prompt. Just copy the first part of your prompt. Here we go. And I'm going to use ChatGPT. I'm going to create this bot and I'm going to call, instead of a project bot, you are the PMINEO project bot, etc. First, introduce yourself. I'm just going to make a little change here to make it fun. Introduce yourself and greet the project manager. Cool. Let's take a look. Yes. Hi, hello. I'm the PMINEO project bot, etc., etc. Give me the information and I'm going to tell you what it is that I'm going to do. So please provide me your name, project name, objective, and budget. Then I go back here and you guys can replace that by your current project. I'm using the one from the prompt. So this is the project. And let's take a look what it does. So it analyzes the project and it gave me here their assessment. Look at that. Guys, when you look to this assessment, which option you think we should choose? Agile, Scrum, Kanban, Waterfall, or Hybrid? Those are all the criteria. Which one should I select? Human in the loop. Which one should I select here? Let me see on the chat. Hybrid. All right. Hybrid it is. It makes more sense. It's the one that got more, got all green, right? So I'm going to select hybrid. And here we go. In less than a minute, is going to create a full schedule with elements of predictive, agile, hybrid, create a WBS. Look at that, guys. With epics, broke down on the agile elements, right? So that's the other problem. In other words, guys, you guys can create a bot for everything you do. You can create a bot to compress a schedule. So the next example that I have here, I'm going to keep that as a homework, right? Because of the time. What I want you to do is to take that schedule that you received and ask your chatbot to compress. What is the situation? You have 102 days. Your schedule is 102 days, and your project is supposed to be 90. So you are already 12 days behind schedule. You are asking your chatbot to compress that schedule. So, you know what? I think I'm looking to the clock here. So we still have 5 minutes. I'm going to use every single minute that I have here on our thing. So let me get a new chat. I'm going to put this thing and I'm going to drag the PDF here for that schedule. And you might say, okay, Leon, uh, you said, well, it's of course it's only 20 something tasks. Of course, it's going to analyze my schedule very quickly because it's only 20 tasks. And it's going to give me compression techniques, fast tracking, etc., etc. What about if my schedule is 2,000 tasks? You know what's the difference for generative AI to do 20 tasks or 2,000 tasks? A few seconds. So no worries. You can put, doesn't matter how big is your project. Go to Jira, download your entire project as a PDF and put it here, and you will see. Look at that, guys. Look at that. But again, I want to make sure that I'm respectful of your time. So, final question for you. Actually, I'm going to skip that to the questions and answers. So let's go. Final questions here. Is a bot the same thing as Gemini Gem? Yeah, well, so a bot is a piece of an AI agent. Sean. So very good question, because what is an AI agent? Is when you have a series of bots or parts, so you can read a document, analyze a document, let's say you read your risk register. Then, based on the severity, probability times impact, if it is from 16 to 25, then do this. If it is that, then do that. And then after that, send an email. This is an agent. It does several steps automatically as you put them together. The bot is one of those little nodes. Make sense? So I'll be delivering a webinar on AI agents, practical build up of AI agents. Just follow me on LinkedIn. You're gonna see when we put this thing out. Feel free to do so. Right? Any other question? We still have 3 minutes. Look at that, Joe. I still have 3 minutes. Any question, guys? Let's put you on the chat. Love to keep the connection open. By the way, I'm presenting a global webinar with PMI about complex project management, if that's a topic that interests you, with Lenka Pincott. She's going to facilitate a conversation about complex projects. And probably if you guys decide to be in Detroit for the Global Summit, I should be there as well. It would be nice to catch up with you. And for anybody here, since I still have time, if anybody here wants to know more about some basic stuff for overall view about Joe actually joined us on that. Feel free to join our community. We have a community where I give back. Everything is free here, guys. Assessment, project management, complexity assessment, all this stuff is available to you guys. Readiness assessment, book recommendations, articles, you name it. It's my way to give back to the community. So if you are interested, just go ahead and join us. But that's it, guys. Roger, de nada. He wrote, muito obrigado.
What did you, hello, Leon. What did you say? Join what? What was that you were mentioning?
Yeah, I put together this community called the Edge Academy, right? You see here, I put on the chat, I put a link. You just need to put your name, a photo or an image, whatever, and type, I'm a project manager, doesn't matter. And then you join in. All this stuff is free. Articles, and the interviews I did with the experts, my book recommendations on AI. I have a list of books like the ones that you see on the back, articles again, complexity assessment, pretty neat, right? You do a mapping of your project in 15 dimensions, which is a nice a webinar that I'm also usually present on how to assess complexity in projects, right? And we add an AI part on that assessment as well. So yeah.
Thank you
And
very
it
much.
is time.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Herzon. I appreciate your presentation. It was excellent. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. This session was recorded. We will send out the slides, the recording, and the PDUs for everyone. Please join Dr. Herzon's group, but also come back to the chapter website, PMINEO.org, for future programs and events. Thank you all.
Thank
Have
you,
a
guys.
fantastic day.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you very much.
Joe, I'll send you the slide deck and then you share internally,
And
right?
I'll share it. Yes. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.